This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so welcome back everyone. This is the third session of our Capstone project, and I really hope that you are working on the assignments after the end of each video and then proceeding to the next one, because that's how you really get to learn. You're going to learn by doing things instead of just listening to the videos anymore, because now we are in that part of the course wherein we are trying to put into practice whatever has been learned till now. Okay, so based on that, the last video had asked you guys to just come up with a list of questions, what you might, come up with when you have to ask the stakeholders in the very first introductory, workshop that you get to discuss with them. So right now, if you look at the scenario, it's like, the client, the project problem statement. Your project manager would have given you a brief idea about who the stakeholders are, what the company is all about, and all those things. You might have done a little bit more research to get more information about it by talking to other people or searching on the net and all those things. Now you are in the presence of the stakeholders. Now, what are the questions that you can ask? So think of it. If you have to really come up with a mobile app that is going to serve the purpose of giving the customer the option to provide all the inputs, and then then gives the security code or a pin code which can be entered at the ATM to withdraw money. What would be the basic questions that you should be asking for? So if I think about it, so one of the question could be that okay, so you're asking for a mobile app. So does it mean that this app would be available? Uh, Again, what are the major segments? You have iOS and you have Android, right? These are the two major uh, operating systems based on which all the smartphones in the world are working upon. So, uh, can this be one of the initial question, that do you want this app to be developed only for Android smartphones, or is it also for the iOS smartphones? Reason being, of course, because the app which is developed will be totally different. One is a Play Store, one is an App Store, right? So, can this be one of the first question? Of course. So, should this app be developed only for Android smartphones, or is it for iOS smartphones too? Okay. A follow-up question could be that, should this app work only on smartphones, or should it work on tabs and all those things? That becomes a little bit more, what do you say, digging deep into it. Maybe even if you ask that question, they'll say, no, first let's have it only for smartphones. Then if we find it really working very well, then we want to expand it to work on, desktops and tabs and all those things. But the other question you can ask is, of course, that should this be an app with, or should this be something which can be a website also? What do I mean by that? For example, if in India, if I want to book a movie ticket or a music concert related tickets, then I can go to the Book My Show app. At the same time, I can also go to the Book My Show website, right? So both the sites, both the options are available to me, and maybe if I create an account, then I can book tickets either through this or that. So something like that, is it required over here? Like, should this be only a mobile app, or should this be a website also? Can that be a question? Of course. So should this be only an app, or a website too? I mean, do not go with the exact wordings. I'm not putting the exact words that you would use in the discussion, but I'm trying to give you a gist of what can be the major points that you can capture. Okay, so now let's say the stakeholders have given you the responses to these questions. They've told that we need an app which works on both, Android and iOS. Again, they will have their own reasons, like maybe in the city or in the country or the state where we want to really launch this particular app. Uh, Most of our customers are, of course, Android based, but then there are a sizable number of customers who use the iPhone also. So that could be the reason. The other one, the second question, they can say that no, let's have only an app for the time being, and later we'll look into if a website is required. Okay, so you get the answers like that. The next thing could be that, okay, you have asked about should it be a app or website, or should it be only for this type of smartphones? That is the question. Then what's the next thing that you need to look at it? Maybe you can think of it in a sequence. So right now the points that you have asked is about how the customer should start the action of using this app. So now you got an answer that it should be on the smartphone itself and for these two things. What's the next thing that happens from a customer's perspective? If you look at it, if the customer has to use this functionality, the next thing could be that, okay, customer would have got the option, search for it on the app store, and downloaded it, installed it. What's the next thing that a customer would be usually doing? Think of it. What would it be? The thing is that you need to open the app, right? What happens after opening the app? You'll be asked to set up an account, or create credentials which can be used, something like that. Now you can ask one more question also to the the stakeholders, that what we are taking example of Citibank, right? So if we are talking about Citibank might already have a mobile app which allows customers to open an account, add beneficiaries, do money transfers, request for checkbook, generate PIN, and all those things. So, can your next question be that how about integrating this additional functionality into that existing app itself? It reduces a lot of efforts and money, the cost for the company, the client, and all those things, right? Why not add this feature of providing the customer with a passcode which can be used at the ATM within the existing mobile app? That can be a question. Can we integrate this new feature into the existing City app? I don't know what is the name for it, but you got the gist of it, right? This can be a question, and they can say that no, we want to keep it aside because again, there can be any business logic behind it. Here the business logic could be that we want to launch it only for 100 or 1,000 customers initially and see how it works and then expand it, or we want to give it only in one particular city, whereas our mobile app is there everywhere else. Or there could be any reason, like we are not really clear about how it really works. They might not even give you the reason, but at the discussion table, they might think that, okay, this is a innovative feature which we are not clear how it works, so let's launch it as a separate app, and if it's going to work really well, then as part of cost optimization we'll integrate it to the existing. There can be any reason like that, but you can ask this question. So you're asking, like, can we integrate this into the existing mobile app? They might say no, we want to keep it aside. So you got to know that it's a separate app which has to be downloaded and installed. What's the next thing that you can ask for? As we were discussing, right? Credentials. Like, what credentials should be used by the customer to create? What do I mean by this? So whenever you open a new app, any app, what's the thing that you'd be asked to? You'd be asked to create an account. And when you talk about creating account, how does it happen? You're supposed to fill in all the questions related responses, and then you have to select perhaps a security question, create a username, create a password, and all these things. So in the current scenario, we don't really find any customers who would really be more than willing to do these things. They would rather say, is there any simpler approach? Why should I always give all these responses? Some of these questions are related to my PII, personally identifiable information, so I don't want to give, or there could be any such reason. I don't want to key in too many responses. So you want to make it super easy for the end customer, right? So creation of account. So here, when I have to create an account in the app, what do I do? Should I ask the customer to enter all the details? If yes, then what are the details? It could be name, date of birth, account number, etc, 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 right? Or is there any simpler option? When you ask this question, or shall we use existing details of the customer to provide, you know, login credentials. What do I mean by this? What I'm saying is, to use this app, you need some credentials, right? So to have that credentials, one option is create account and add all those details. The second option is, now this customer, you're talking about Citibank customers, right? Citibank customers, you're giving this new app. So by default, I mean, almost every bank account holder will have that banking app, the default banking app. So this customer might already be using the existing Citibank app for other things like, money transfer, manage beneficiaries, make some bill payments, credit card details, etc., etc. Now that app already is being used with some existing credentials. Can those credentials be used here? So that's your question that you're asking the stakeholders. And you know what? Stakeholders might not have thought about it. They might have thought, okay, we'll give the customers an app which can be used this, and all. But now you are giving a value add by asking these additional questions, which is going to improve the customer experience, which will increase the chances of customers using this new app, etc., etc. Right? So that's the value add that you give. So you're asking this question: can we use the existing credentials? Okay. Now, when you say existing credentials, they can say, yeah, yeah, of course, why don't, why not? So we can do that way. Is there any way which you can use to make it even more simpler? How about a customer who is using a smartphone but has some limited capacity or whatever it is, and is not using too many apps on the smartphone, but already has an existing account in Citibank? So how do you generate credentials for such customers? One more option you have is, you can look at the internet banking credentials. Now this is like, you cannot say that a customer has opened a bank account but has never used the internet banking credentials, because whenever you open a bank account, you are given a welcome kit which will have your debit card, which you can use in ATMs, and you will also be given internet banking credentials. So by default, it is given at the time of creating the account itself. So you're saying that instead of relying on the app credentials, wherein the customer may be using the app or not, why not, I ask the customer to use the internet banking credentials, right? So that way you're making it even more easy. You're depending on an option which is even more probable to be available, right? So okay, so when you provide this option, the stakeholder might say, yeah, of course, let's go with internet banking credentials. Okay, that's one thing. So now you got to know that how the customer can download this app, can install this app, and can start using the app. What's the next thing? Now think about any app that you're using currently. Okay, um, do you enter multiple characters, or do you do multiple steps to log into the app? Usually you don't, right? If any app really forces you to log in every time, or enter multiple characters every time when you have to start using the app, you might as well stop using the app altogether. So is it possible the same issue will be faced by Citibank, that customers may not use this app more often if they're every time asked to enter the username and log a password which they used for internet banking to open this app, correct? So there is a chance that it might not click with the customers. So now, okay, so we'll stop here for now. So now I want you to think about, what are the options that you would like to give to the customer to log in from second time onwards. First time you definitely need it to compare this customer, is it an existing customer or not. If the internet bank credentials are used, then you can link this app to the specific account of the customer, and that will help in setting up the app. But from next time onwards, you should not actually ask the customer to enter the entire username and password. So what can be another option, or what can be multiple options that you can provide? Think about it, okay, and come up with your own points of what you would suggest to the stakeholders, and we will discuss about it in the next video. Along with it, we'll proceed to the next set of few questions. Okay, so I hope you're getting an idea of how do you proceed, how do you start, how do you get into the details of it. Maybe you can, here we are putting a logic of going through the sequential process, like how it starts from the customer's perspective, first step, till the end step, and that is leading us to ask more and more questions and get more and more details. This is one approach. There could be multiple approaches like this. Okay, so think of it. Come up with your own approaches of how you would like the customer to log into the app from next time onwards. We will discuss about it in the next video. Okay, thanks everyone.